Hello Libra, welcome to your 2019 extensive astrology horoscope with me, Marina. I'm really excited because we have so many wonderful things to talk about. We are going to cover the most important astrological events for your sign for 2019. And it includes, of course, the social planets Jupiter and Saturn. We are going to talk about the lunar nodes and how they will impact your zodiac sign. Of course, the eclipses, concrete dates, how they can affect you, and the outer planets, the most important part, which can show you basically which are the biggest change, in which areas you can go through the deepest, most significant changes. After we cover this information, we are also going to talk about the transits of Mars and the Sun, which will show us in which area you can be more active. This is more like a on monthly basis forecast. And of course, we are going to talk about the transits of Venus, the ruler of your sign, which is so important for you. And the transits of Venus will show you how to prepare for the positive events, how to plan celebrations or some positive events like trips. For some people, this could be, of course, related to their personal life, emotional stuff, and so on. So this video is for everyone who has a sun or ascendant in Libra. Don't forget also to watch the other videos. They will be available on my channel. They are all recorded live. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, of course, you're welcome to subscribe. And let me remind you that the 2019 astrology calendar is available, which will bring you information about heliacal phases of planets and also exact aspects between the planets, their interpretation, and lunations and other interesting stuff. So feel free to find the description below for more information. Now, the first thing which is extremely positive about this year. Numerologically, the year is ruled by Jupiter. 2019 equals 3, which in astrology is related to Jupiter. Jupiter is the great benefactor. We are always happy to hear about Jupiter because it can bring you abundance and growth and success and prosperity and, most importantly, wisdom. So that's a great starting point for everyone. Plus, during 2019, Jupiter is in Sagittarius, the sign of its rulership, which means that Jupiter is extremely powerful, which can make the planet more beneficial for everyone. Also, during 2019, Saturn is very strong in the sign of its rulership, Capricorn. So the year is very specific. The last time we have had this combination, Jupiter in Sagittarius and Saturn in Capricorn, is or was, let me see, 1959. So many years ago. So the year is very interesting, and one of the great news is that also Venus and Mars won't be retrograde during 2019. Mercury is retrograde as usual, 3 or 4 times. We are going to talk about this as well. So, okay, let's start with the more concrete stuff for your sign, because we already said Jupiter is very strong, Jupiter is generous and powerful, but it's important to find out in which area it will affect you personally. For Libra rising, the transit Jupiter will be in 3rd house during the whole year, basically until December. December, Jupiter enters Capricorn, but until that time, Jupiter is in your 3rd house. So the areas or anything which is related to 3rd house can bring you more success, can be easier for you, can be more beneficial. 3rd house, first of all, is related to our communication with other people. Friends, neighbors, siblings, people we meet on a daily basis. So with Jupiter in your 3rd house is a great time actually to communicate with more people, to create new friendships, Through other people, you may also benefit. For example, a friend might support you or may give you an important advice or may help you in a concrete direction which is important for you. So generally speaking, open up for communication with others, meet new people, reconnect with your old friends. And also, third house is about mental work, intellectual work. So first of all, a great year for education. And here we have to be more specific because there are different types of education, knowledge, experience, and third house is more about the practical skills. Third house is not so much about philosophy or even higher education or something which is, requires a lot of time or effort. Third house is about the practical skills that we have. For example, to learn driving a car. For example, to learn to cook. Practical things that we can do. So the year is wonderful if you would like to improve your skills in certain area. And here is another thing I also think is important. You have to apply the knowledge that you have. So it's not about, keeping those things in your mind, organizing, like in a library or something like that. You have to learn something and you have to apply it. In this way, you're remembering it faster and also you can use it for something practical. So in general, a wonderful year for learning new things, improving your skills, learning languages. Jupiter is a planet related to different cultures, religions, and basically, if you would like to learn a new language, this is a wonderful year for you, or maybe to remember or to improve your skills in certain language which is important for you. Also, third house is about, basically nowadays many people work in areas which are related to third house. That's why I will explain more about it. Third house is basically related to everything which includes other people, working with information, sales, everyone who sells something. It could be selling cars, it could be selling online products, it could be selling dresses, it doesn't matter. If you work in sales, if you communicate with people, marketing is here as well, promotions, advertising, all of those areas are included in third house. So if that's the type of business you are working in, the year can be really successful for you. Or maybe you can improve generally your work and your business if you learn more or improve your skills with marketing or with some kind of, theories about how to promote your work. Also, for everyone who writes, this is more specific, but of course there are many people who would like to write a book or something like that. Also, very supportive position. And another thing for Jupiter in third house is that this is a great position for traveling. If you want to travel for fun, if you want to travel to learn something new for education, for whatever reason, Jupiter in third house supports you during the year. Let me think also what we can say. We mentioned that third house is related to our siblings. So you can also improve your relationship with siblings during the year. Okay, so I think that we've covered most of the stuff. I remember, for example, in my case, when Jupiter was transiting my third house, this was a very active time for me when I started to write a lot. So even if you are not a writer, I'm also not a writer, but during this year, I remember I started writing some articles or posts for media, for especially social media nowadays. So think about those opportunities. Okay, let's move to the next important social planet. The next planet is Saturn, which this year will be in your fourth house. Saturn is in a more challenging position for some of you, not for everyone, because Saturn will square Libra. Saturn is in Capricorn. During the whole year is between the 12th and the 22nd degree. So if you have your sun or ascendant sign in Libra between the same degrees, plus minus 1-2 degrees, it means that Saturn will square your Sun or Ascendant, which can be challenging. Saturn is a planet which is testing us. Saturn is a planet which brings more responsibilities, more obligations. So some of you may really feel like this year will require more effort in certain direction. You have to prepare also to be really patient. This is one of the main qualities for Capricorn and for Saturn. To be patient, to be hardworking, to be prepared to give up from something. Of course, you can use it also in a really productive way, in a really positive direction. The same aspect actually can make you extremely disciplined, extremely organized. And it's mostly about how you connect or how you apply the different rules in your life. Saturn is a planet which likes the rules and the law. So if you're following the rules, if you're doing things accurately in the right way, you won't have problems with Saturn. But if you're not really accurate, if you're not following the rules, Saturn may force you to do that. And Saturn is in your fourth house basically during the year, which means that it may affect more your personal life, family, and it doesn't necessarily mean problems, but it may represent, for example, more responsibilities. For some people, this could be, for example, a parent who requires more attention and more of your time. For others, this could be a new baby who really changes your life, who requires you to stay more at home. You may feel a little bit more stuck because of that. But after all, this can be a positive event. It doesn't mean that it has to be something bad. But prepare to be more responsible with family, with your relatives, anything which is related to your home, to the place where you are living. And a positive connection here, Saturn in fourth house, is that it can bring more stability. This is also one of the positive sides of Saturn. It can bring you more stability at home. For property issues, by the way, this could be a positive transit. For example, some people may feel like it's finally the time to have their own place, and this may require, for example, some kind of sacrifices in order to be able to have a new home, for example. Or in one way or another, you may feel like you seek or you need this connection with the place where you are. And the topic about stability, security is extremely important here as well. So pay attention to your family, to your home issues. And another thing we should mention here is that together with Saturn, we also have the South Node in Capricorn as well. The South Node has a similar influence to Saturn, which means that it's also testing you. It requires from you also to give up from something, not to be so focused on this area. And on the other hand, you need to focus in the opposite area, which is 10th house for you, basically the North Node. And the North Node is more, or 10th house basically is about your career, your social achievements. And of course, it requires balance. Of course, especially when we talk about the eclipses, we are going to mention this, but finding the balance between your personal life and your career. And this is a cardinal axis. 4th and 10th house are one of the really important houses. So we can say generally the year is important and can bring serious personal changes for you. And if you're wondering what you should do, how to, handle with the situation, my advice is to focus more on the North Node, which means how you can achieve more in terms of career. To achieve, for example, there are people who are not working, so you can do the same even if you don't have a business or a concrete work, but you may still do something which is important for others, which is important socially. whether it would be a volunteer job or supporting someone or preparing for something which has a social importance. And by the way, if we combine those indications here, Jupiter in third house and the North Node in 10th house, I would say one of the best things that you can do is to improve your skills, to learn something new, which you can apply at work or where you are basically doing something for others. On the other hand, try to be more focused at home, meaning to be more responsible, but also be prepared to let go of something. Especially, basically, here we're talking about things which are not necessary for you. For example, if you have too many personal stuff at home, there are people who literally have a problem with that, by the way, who cannot throw away old things. And they have so many clothes or other stuff which they won't use. This is a great time actually to set free from those stuff. Throw away the things that you don't need. Throw away the old stuff, because all of this is energy. And if you are keeping the old stuff around you, you're not allowing new things in your life. So with Saturn in fourth house, throw away everything which is unnecessary at home. If there is also a toxic relationship, also try to let it go. Try to, set free from this relationship. Okay, so now we also have to talk about the eclipses, of course, because they're closely related to the position of the lunar nodes. The eclipses are considered to be karmic because they include a lunation, new moon or full moon, and also the lunar nodes in conjunction. The impact can be for a really long time, between 6 months up to 3 years in some cases. And the first eclipse is on the 5th of January. In Capricorn, 16 degrees. Now, here I would like to ask you to pay attention to the exact degrees, because it's very important to find out where is the exact degree falling in your chart. Let's say that you have a planet or a cusp of a house close to this degree, within 5 degrees. It means that this eclipse will be extremely important for you. But let's say that this degree is somewhere in the middle of the house, not close to a cusp of a house. There is no planet here. You also don't have planets in the cardinal signs close to the same degree. Perhaps in this case, the eclipse won't be so transformative and life-changing for you. That's why here you can find all of the degrees of each eclipse. So, as we said, the first one, 5th of January, 16 degrees Capricorn, your fourth house, and most importantly, it includes the South Node. So here, close to this period, we can expect situations from the past, something which may require from you to let it go, something that you should to give up from. So think about seriously your home, the place where you're living, properties, family. Those type of topics are the most important. The next eclipse is on the 21st of January. Lunar eclipse, but here the situation is more interesting and more difficult for interpretation, by the way, because the lunar nodes are in the same places, Capricorn, Cancer, but the sun and the moon are in Leo and Aquarius, first degree, Leo, first degree, Aquarius. So basically they fall in your 11th and 5th house. And here you have to balance more your emotions and your mind. 5th house represents our heart, our personal desires. 11th house represents more the mental side of things, or our ideas, or also balance between love and friendships. These are the main topics here, January 21st. Then on the 2nd of July, the solar eclipse is on the 11th degree in Cancer, your 10th house. And here the important part is that the North Node is in conjunction, which is much more positive. And it means that something which is more about the future, can be important for you. You may have a new idea. You may have a new focus, a new direction. This is the more positive eclipse. And the focus is on career, on work, on your reputation. So, of course, it's really personal depending on, what's affected by the exact degree. But generally speaking, reputation, career, social achievements. Then we have a lunar eclipse on the 16th of July, 24 degrees Capricorn, Cancer, 4th, 10th house. Balance between work and personal life. Your home, your family, the time that you spend alone at home, which is represented by 4th house, and on the other hand, what you need or what you want to achieve in your career, how to balance this. And of course, with the oppositions, we always have to make compromises. But again, remember, the North Node is here, 10th house. So the focus should be more on your social work, on your career, or things which have importance for others as well. And the last eclipse, the 26th of December, 5 degrees Capricorn. Again, we have the South Node, basically similar situation like the one on January the 5th. So again, something related to your past might be important. Also, the focus is on work, on home and family and your personal desires. And it is also a positive time to let go of something. Okay, so that's all about the eclipses, the dates, the exact degrees. Next, we have the outer planets. This, guys, is the most important part. But the difference here is that it's not the same for everyone. Because, let's say, Jupiter is moving faster than the outer planets. And during the whole year, basically, it will enter Capricorn. So basically, it will go through the whole Sagittarius. On the other hand, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they are much slower. And they will move, for example, Pluto is between the 20th and the 23rd degree in Capricorn. So 4 degrees for the whole year. And here the important question is, if one of those planets will make exact aspect, major aspect, with the planet or a cusp of a house. So that's why here we really need to pay attention to the exact degrees. And if that's the case, if one of these planets is making major aspect with one of your personal planets, or maybe is changing houses, moving from one house to another, this would be the main topic of the whole year. This would be the most important impact for you. And of course, the opposite is true as well. If the planet is somewhere in the middle of certain house, no major aspects with your personal planets, you may not notice so much the impact of those planets. So let's start with Uranus. At the beginning of the year, Uranus is on the 28th degree in Aries in your 7th house. This is extremely important if you have your sun or ascendant sign in the last few degrees in Libra. If that's the case, this is a major transformative, really important transit. Uranus making opposition with your sun or ascendant sign can bring unexpected changes. Very often they are stressful. Very often there is a sense for instability. There are frequent changes, ups and downs, and of course it depends on your nature, your personality. There are people who are afraid of changes. If you try to resist the change, to keep everything as it is, this can be an extremely difficult transit. And on the other hand, if you are a person who likes experiments, trying new things, living a day for a day, this can be a very exciting transit. But in one way or another, the main topic is personal transformation. In most of the cases, through communication with another person. This position, this aspect can also bring intense changes in relationships, in partnerships. People who are stuck in a relationship may finally decide to separate with the partner. People who have been single for a very long time may suddenly fall in love. With Uranus, things are happening overnight usually, not necessarily stable and long lasting, but the excitement is huge. So serious changes and transformations for those born basically at the end of the Libra season, or if your ascendant is here. After March, Uranus will enter Taurus, which is your eighth house. And until the end of the year, it will be until the 7th degree in Taurus. So here, Uranus is not making major aspect with Libra. It would be an important transit if you have a cusp of a house here in the first few degrees of Taurus. If the cusp of your eighth house is here between the 1st and the 7th, even the 8th degree in Taurus, this can bring unexpected changes, especially in the area of finances. Sometimes you also have to be careful for possible traumas or accidents. Now, of course, it requires many other indications, analysis, different methods, but generally speaking, Uranus entering 8th house can bring unexpected, stressful, critical situations, so to speak. So more attention if that's the case. Now, let's see about Neptune. During the year, Neptune will be between the 14th and the 19th degree in Pisces, in your 6th house. Here, we don't have a major aspect. And the most important question is whether you have a planet or a cusp of a house between those degrees, 14th, 19th degree in Pisces, plus minus 1. If Neptune enters your 6th house, so basically if you have the cusp of your house somewhere between those degrees, first of all, you have to pay more attention to your work, career, responsibilities. Neptune is a planet which doesn't like responsibilities. So very often people may feel unmotivated, confused. They may want a change without knowing what exactly it should be. For creativity, for areas where you're supporting others, when you're inspiring others, healing others, this would be a positive aspect. But generally speaking, with the outer planets, our reaction is extremely important, and our nature and our personality. Some people may work really well with the Neptune energies. Others may feel like, they're completely lost, like, they're losing ground under their feet. So it's different for different people. And one more thing, with Neptune in 6th house, of course, more attention to your health. The negative side of Neptune is that it can bring, well, some kind of states, physical states, which are difficult to be described. Or, for example, you may feel like something is not completely okay, but it's difficult to be diagnosed. Unfortunately, with Neptune and with Pluto, in other cases, they can bring diagnoses which are difficult to be defined. Basically, doctors are wondering what is it, and I think we all know such people when it's unfortunately difficult, or it takes more time before they can find out what's the real problem. And another thing with Neptune in 6th house, it can make you generally more sensitive to all kinds of chemical ingredients, drugs, certain foods, and also if you have hormonal problems or allergies, this can be transit which requires more attention. All right, enough about Neptune. As we said, it doesn't make major aspect with Libra, so it's important only if it enters 6th house or if you have another planet which is affected by those degrees. Next, we have Pluto. Pluto is in an important position in Capricorn between the 20th and the 23rd degree in your 4th house. Again, we ask the same questions. Do you have your sun or ascendant somewhere between those degrees? Basically, plus minus 1-2 degrees. So from the 18th until the 25th degree in Libra. If that's the case, Pluto will square the sun or the ascendant. This is a challenging aspect which, first of all, can bring incredible transformations. With Pluto, the main thing is that there are things which are beyond our control. So, for example, we may face with people who have more power. We may feel like somebody is trying to manipulate the situation. Socially, we may feel like, we cannot move together with others. It's kind of difficult to be described, and it's really personal, really deep experience. And with Pluto, it's not necessarily related to something obvious for others. It might be a deep personal transformation which only you are feeling on an inner level. And we talk about inner level also because fourth house, one of the meanings of fourth house is that this is related to our deepest emotions, our feelings, our soul. So the transformations may come from within. Sometimes there might be outer events as well, but not necessarily. And the most important is personal transformation. To be honest, it could be hard, it could be difficult, but we can always do something to channel or to change the energy in some way. One of the best things that we can do with Pluto and the transits of Pluto are some kind of energetical practices, yoga, meditations, or energetical healing like Reiki, for example. They can really help you to balance the energy. And of course, if Pluto is in your fourth house, making challenging aspects with the Sun or with your Ascendant, there might be some difficult events or difficult communication with family members as well. But again, I repeat, the most important question is to find out if you have an exact major aspect between Pluto and something in your chart, cusp of a house or personal planet. So we've covered the most important part. Again, let me remind you, here is the most important. Here are the life-changing transits: Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. If you have one of those, this is the main thing that you should focus on, or the main thing that you will feel. And the other main important areas for you are Jupiter in third house and Saturn in fourth house and the North Node in 10th house. Okay, so now we are going to talk about a more detailed forecast for different months. Okay. All right, we are talking now about Mars. Mars is very important because this is one of the fire planets, the planets related to taking action, doing things, initiating, taking risks. Of course, Mars can make us nervous at some point, can make us, can bring possible confrontations. But if we learn to use this energy in the right way, basically it can support us to achieve more. That's why I think it's so important, and I decided to give you the exact dates with the exact house positions. And first of all, the beginning of the year from the 1st of January until the 13th of February, Mars is in Aries in your 7th house. This is a great time to focus on relationships and partnerships. Things might be really dynamic here. The challenging side is, of course, Mars can bring confrontations, different opinions, the need to find compromises. But on the other hand, together with another person, you can achieve more. Or somebody may provoke you, or may inspire you, or you may want to compete with someone. But the interaction, the communication with another person can actually increase your personal will and personal power. After that, from the 14th of February until the 30th of March, we have the transit Mars in 8th house. This is a strong position because Mars is associated also with 8th house. So naturally it rules first and eighth house. That's why the position is strong. Here, this would be a positive time to focus on financial issues, especially in business. This is a time, to find resources, to find investments for your business. The risk here is about possible traumas. So, of course, more attention if you're practicing some kind of sports or anything which brings higher risks. Find out, first of all, whether Mars will make aspect with one of your personal planets. But generally, also, Mars in eighth house can provoke us to take bigger risks. And it doesn't mean that this is something bad, of course. It might be different for different people, but generally, in terms of finances, decisions, investments, this transit may provoke you to make a new step and to take risks. Then from the 31st of March until the 14th of May, the transit Mars is in your ninth house. This is a positive position because Mars will make trine with your Sun or Ascendant sign. Transit which can improve your confidence, can help you to take faster decisions and faster to take action. Also to focus on the future, on some concrete goals, to do something about those goals. For traveling, this is an important transit. For some exams or education, where especially if you have to put efforts to work hard for this, Mars in ninth house can make you more motivated and also can help you to do things faster. That's one of the key things about Mars. It makes us faster, it makes us more impulsive and also more enthusiastic because that's a fire energy. Okay, then we have another important transit. From the 15th of May until the 30th of June, Mars is in your 10th house, one of those key positions, because 10th house is about your career, your achievements, socially, your reputation as well. Also, Mars in Cancer will join the North Node. So you may have a clearer idea about the future. You may focus on new projects. Great time for business projects, for applying for promotion or doing something. And remember that Mars requires from us to take the first step. So don't wait for someone else to push you or to tell you what to do. You have to start the things. So focus on career, work, achievements. After that, from the 1st of July until the 17th of August, Mars is in your 11th house, which is a positive transit for social projects, group activities, working together with others, maybe connecting more with friends. A possible challenge here is more confrontations with those people or with your friends. After that, from the 18th of August until the 2nd of October, we have a more passive period when Mars is in your 12th house. Time to slow down, time to recharge yourself, maybe to take care of yourself. If you are exhausted, if you are tired, that's the best time to slow down. And in most of the cases, people are not so motivated. When Mars is in your 12th house, something is really dynamic, something is really active on an inner level, but it's difficult to materialize it. So it's a time for preparation, it's a time to recharge yourself, but not such a positive period for a social project or to work really hard on something which is visible for others. But then we have a completely different period from the 3rd of October until the 18th of November. Mars is in Libra in your first house. A drastic change. More energy, more focus, more desire to do something, to compete with others, to be more independent. Positive for starting basically everything, especially if you are, the leading person, especially if that's something important for you. And also, the transit may help you to take risks. The risk or the challenge here is, again, possible confrontations, impatience, and in some cases also it's more likely to, to hurt yourself or to have some kind of trauma. So pay attention, especially one of the ways, by the way, to find out whether your time of birth is accurate. Observe the transits of Mars, especially when it makes exact conjunction with your ascendant. In most of the cases, something will happen. Very often it might be something, for example, you may hurt yourself, or some people may have a higher temperature, or you may confront with someone. Usually these are the typical events with Mars in exact conjunction with the ascendant. So if you're not completely sure about the exact degree, this is one of the ways to check. Of course, this is not, a final result, but something to think about. Okay, then from the 19th of November until the end of the year, Mars is in your second house. Time to focus on practical things. Great time to focus on finances, earning more money, spending more money is also an option here. And Mars is really strong here. Mars is in Scorpio. So you may feel stronger, you may feel more confident, especially in terms of practical and financial issues. So that's the most important about the transits of Mars. Next, we have Mercury retrograde, the periods of Mercury retrograde. As we already said, the great news is that Mars and Venus won't be retrograde during 2019. With Mercury, as usual, we have 3 or 4 periods of retrograde phase. This time there are 3. The first one, from the 5th of March until the 27th, Mercury is retrograde in Pisces between the 30th and the 17th degree. It falls in your 6th house, which means that you need to be more careful about your work, your responsibilities, your obligations. Not a positive time for starting a brand new job, for signing business contracts, even for business negotiations. This would be a challenging period. And also more attention to your health. The next retrograde phase is from the 7th until the 30th of July, this time in Leo and Cancer. From the 5th degree in Leo, Mercury will go back to the 24th degree in Cancer, first in 11th and then in your 10th house. When Mercury is retrograde in your 11th house, you have to be more careful with friends, with group activities, if you're organizing something together with others. Generally, also, the mutual understanding with other people might be, well, more complicated. The second half of this period, Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house. So more attention to your career, work, not a positive time for brand new jobs, for important business initiatives, especially about things that you want to be permanent or stable or long-lasting. Also more attention when you're communicating with authority figures, people who have more power. Business negotiations are also more challenging here during this period. And the last retrograde phase of Mercury between the 31st of October and the 19th of November. In Scorpio between the 28th and the 12th degree. Mercury will be retrograde in your second house, so you have to be extremely careful with finances. Don't buy important, expensive stuff. Don't make investments. Make sure that you are, careful literally with where you are keeping your money. Sometimes we may lose money. We may forget about something. We can make mistake with calculations. So more attention about all kinds of possessions, not only money, but everything which you have. And as I said, not a beneficial period for purchases or investments. And as usual, we know that all of those periods of Mercury retrograde are generally considered to be challenging for our communication, with information, planning, scheduling things. Keep in mind that what you are planning might be changed. It's almost a rule, not 100%, but in most of the cases. With traveling as well, and for contracts, this is not, well, not a beneficial period. Okay, we have two more slides. And here is the more positive part. We are going to talk about the transits of the sun, and then we have only the transits of Venus and the special lucky days. So now prepare for the more entertaining part, for the more positive part. So what's the difference between the transits of Mars and the transits of the sun? Both are fire planets, both are related to some desires and action. But Mars is a planet which requires more physical energy, requires efforts, can make us impatient or confront with others. On the other hand, the sun brings light, the sun brings energy, enthusiasm, desire, but things are smoother. Here, we are not expecting tension. With Mars, we can always expect tension, even if this is productive, even if we achieve results, if we are stronger, there is always some level of tension. But with the sun, we don't expect those things. And at the beginning of the year, as usual, the sun is in Capricorn in your fourth house. Time to focus more on personal stuff, time to focus on your home or family, or to connect with relatives. Here, the South Node is in fourth house as well. So situations from the past might be important, or memories, or letting go of something which is personal, something related to your home or family. Then from the 20th of January until the 17th of February, you have a very beneficial period when the transit sun is in your fifth house and makes trine with your own sun or ascendant sign. This is a very positive period when you can enjoy things, when you may have more time for entertainment. Also for creativity, this is a fantastic position. For romances, for new dates, for falling in love, or just connecting emotionally with others. Of course, children could be important, or your hobbies, or what you truly love. So entertainment, having fun, these are the major topics here. Then there is a different period between the 18th of February and the 19th of March. The sun is in sixth house, which is basically time for serious work, time for more responsibilities. Here you have to focus on the things that you have to do, not only on the things that you want to do. The sun in fifth house is about what you want, your desires, what you like. After that, with the sun in sixth house, it would be better to focus on the things that you should do, you must and you have to do. Work, responsibilities, being more organized, but also more productive here when the sun is in sixth house. Then from the 20th of March until the 19th of April, the sun is in your seventh house. This is a great time for relationships, for partnerships, for spending more time with others, for connecting with others. Again, your romantic life can be really active, really interesting. Sometimes it could be about business partnerships, of course. So communication and connection with other people, these are the main topics here. Then from the 20th of April until the 20th of May, the sun is in 8th house, one of the challenging positions. Time for more serious topics when you might be more emotional, more sensitive, more pessimistic sometimes. 8th house and Pluto and this Scorpio energy is about being able to notice the things that are not okay. Usually people with a very strong 8th house or Scorpio or Pluto, they can see what is wrong. They are more focused on the things that are not okay. And When the sun is in 8th house, of course, we are not completely transformed. We don't become a real Scorpio, but there might be certain tendency to notice, things that are not okay. Sometimes to dramatize things more, to feel hurt about something. Not always, of course, but generally we are more concerned about serious things. And the positive side is, of course, if you want to transform something about yourself, about your life, or also for financial issues, this would be a positive period. After that, from the 21st of May until the 20th of June, the sun is in your 9th house, which is a completely different phase. Time to focus more on the positive stuff, time to be more optimistic. This would be a great time for learning new things, for exploring new opportunities, finding out some new goals, thinking or planning the future. And of course, trips, vacations are usually very pleasant when the sun is in your 9th house. After that, from the 21st of June until the 21st of July, the transit sun is in your 10th house, one of the key periods here. With the sun in 10th house, it's time for visible results. It's time to show the things that you have worked on. Positive time for a new career or for promotion or for starting your own business. And the things that you are doing are more visible for others. This is very important. After that, from the 22nd of July until the 22nd of August, the sun is in your 11th house. Time for social activities, group activities, to be with your community, to be surrounded by others, to do something with others. So friends and other people here are the main topic. After this period, from the 23rd of August until the 22nd of September, the transit sun is in your 12th house. And this is a time for, well, basically to take a rest, for recharging yourself, reconnecting with yourself, focusing on personal issues, not necessarily related to others. Sometimes also we need to isolate ourselves a little bit. Sometimes we just need more time on our own, or just to recharge. So if this is possible, also take a rest. Try to slow the tempo a little bit, because after that, from the 23rd of September until the 22nd of October, one of the most important periods for the year, the transit sun enters Libra, your sign. Time for new projects, time for starting new things. You might be recharged, you might be happier. You may also be more attractive to others. You may basically attract more attention from other people as well. More energy, literally on a physical level as well. And of course, if your sun is in Libra, this is the time of your birthday, the time when basically your new solar revolution will start. So a brand new period, a brand new energy and focus. So again, I repeat, one of those important periods during the year. Then from the 23rd of October until the 21st of November, the sun is in your 2nd house, time to focus on more practical stuff, material issues, and achieving results. Here in 1st house, we take action. Then in 2nd house, we achieve results. So focus on practical stuff, be more grounded. You may pay more attention to your health or to your energy, or do something to improve your physical condition. Then from the 22nd of November until the 20th of December, the transit sun is in your 3rd house. Time for new ideas, new plans, for trips, for traveling. Vacations are very positive here. Learning new stuff, communicating with more people, more friends, more information in general. So this is one great time as well. And the last few days after the 21st of December until the end of the year, basically until January, the sun is in Capricorn in your fourth house. Time for personal stuff, time to be more connected to your family or home or the place where you're living, and also time for relaxation. So we are ready with the transits of the sun. We have only one slide left, which I would say is one of the most important for you, the transits of Venus. So let's find out what Venus is preparing for you. Basically, those transits will show you areas of life where you can be happier, where you can be more relaxed, where you can feel more comfortable. And here we are not talking about work, about efforts, about competing with others. We talk about pleasant emotions, pleasant experiences, enjoying different things. After that, we're going to talk about the luckiest dates of the year. So don't forget about this as well. And of course, Venus is the ruler of Libra. That's why those transits are even more important for you than for other signs. And of course, as we said, the fact that Venus is direct during the whole year is another positive fact for you. At the beginning of the year, until the 6th of January, Venus is in your second house. Strong position because Venus is associated to this house. Positive for finances, for buying stuff, receiving something, basically pleasant, positive experiences related to receiving something or buying something. Then from the 7th of January until the 2nd of February, Venus is in third house, which can help you to harmonize your communication with other people, with friends. Also really positive transit for traveling, especially for entertainment, just for fun. This is a great transit. Let's see, and also with Venus in third house, you may learn new things in a really pleasant way. Then from the 3rd of February until the 28th, Venus is in Capricorn in your fourth house. Time when you can feel extremely comfortable at home. Time when you can reconnect emotionally with family members. And don't forget also to show your love, to show your appreciation. You may notice that, people are more likely to return the same to you as well. So even if you have difficult relationships with family members or some confrontations, Venus in fourth house can help you to find the compromise. Then from the 1st of March until the 25th, you have a great transit. Venus in Aquarius in your fifth house. Wonderful transit for love, romantic experiences, also for art, enjoying beauty. Venus is about beauty. Fifth house is about entertainment and feeling positive. So art can make you feel really nice, or also spending time with your children or with the people that you love. And of course, a great time for dates and meeting new people. Then from the 26th of March until the 19th of April, Venus is in your sixth house. This is a transit which can help you to feel more comfortable at work, to enjoy the working process, to balance or to harmonize relationship with coworkers or with clients. This is not a transit which will make you more productive or more focused or more organized. Actually, it could be the opposite. You may prefer to relax, you may prefer to slow down, just to enjoy the process. But in one way or another, you should feel better about your responsibilities and your work. And then from the 20th of April until the 14th of May, important positive transit, Venus in seventh house. The ruler of your sign, of your sun or ascendant sign, comes back home to 7th house. Wonderful transit for relationships, for new dates, negotiations, communication with people, not necessarily only in a romantic way. You may also enjoy the company of your friends or someone else who is really dear to your heart. And also, you may just, enjoy the communication. After that, from the 15th of May until the 7th of June, Venus is in 8th house. Not a positive, or at least not such an easy position for Venus. It may bring some intense emotions. Sometimes they might be more critical or too intense. On the other hand, the positive side of this transit is mostly for financial activities or decisions or projects. For example, finding financial support, receiving finances or other resources from other people during this time. Then from the 8th of June until the 2nd of July, Venus is in Gemini in your 9th house and will make trine with your sun or ascendant sign. Great harmonizing influence which can help you to plan the future, to plan something that you would like to achieve, or at least to dream about it, to feel really, really nice doing that. And also wonderful period for vacations, for trips and traveling. If you have to learn something, Venus in 9th house won't make you extremely motivated or organized, but it can help you to enjoy the learning process more. Then from the 3rd of July until the 26th, Venus is in your 10th house, one of the key positions. When something important might happen, especially at your work or in your business, you may enjoy the process. You may also negotiate with authority figures easier, and they may like you more, they may pay more attention to your needs. You may feel emotionally supported by people who have more power than you. And of course, this is always beneficial. After that, from the 27th of July until the 20th of August, Venus in 11th house, helping you to connect with more people, especially with friends or people who have similar interests, similar ideas. All kinds of group activities are positive here during this time. Then from the 21st of August until the 13th of September, Venus is in your 12th house. Time to reconnect with yourself. 12th house is one of the secret, deep places of our soul, of our personal, desires, and also our past, and so many things which are difficult to be described because they are not visible. And Venus in 12th house actually can make you more introverted, can help you to reconnect to yourself, not intensely or important about social communication with other people. This is more about what you feel here in your heart. So you may just, enjoy the time when you're alone. And after that, there is a huge shift from the 14th of September until the 7th of October, one of the most important periods. Venus goes back to Libra and your first house. And of course, we know that this is the ruler of your sign, so that's why this is such an important transit. Time to feel recharged with energy, time to focus on your personal relationships, great time for love, for also all kinds of things that you would like to start. For some people, this can even be about business. Again, I repeat, because this is the ruler of the house which comes back home. So all kinds of personal initiatives are supported during this time. And of course, relationships, partnerships, doing something for your appearance, improving how you look, and also feeling in a different way about yourself. One of the key periods during the year. Then from the 8th of October until the 31st, we have Venus in your second house. Important transit because basically Venus rules second house as well. And this is a time, great time for financial decisions, enjoying, buying something or spending money on something. Also, it's possible to earn more money, to receive financial support. Basically the same like here during the first days of January. Then from the 1st of November until the 24th, Venus is in third house, again positive transit for your communication, your connection with other people, great time for traveling and just to, to enjoy the connection with others. After that, from the 25th of November until the 19th of December, Venus is in your fourth house. Wonderful transit for family relationships, connecting with people, with relatives, or the people that live together with you, and also just enjoying the time when you are at home. And the last few days, basically after the 20th of December, Venus is in your fifth house. A great transit for entertainment, for having fun, enjoying life, especially for romantic things, for spending time with children, or just doing the things that you love. So these are the transits of Venus during the whole year. Don't forget that you can always come back to this video to remind yourself the details, the exact dates. But I highly recommend you to remember the Venus transits, especially for you, because that's the ruler of your sign. And the last thing for today, we have some lucky combinations, basically the luckiest days during the year, and how they can affect you personally. The first one is the conjunction between the Sun and Venus. And basically, there is only one conjunction between the Sun and Venus during the whole year, which is on the 14th of August, 22 degrees in Leo. For you, this will affect your 11th house, which is a great influence for group activities, for your community, spending more time with others, doing something with friends, or just, enjoying some social group activities. A really lucky, really nice, really pleasant combination. The other two aspects are again with Venus, the ruler of your sign, but this time with Jupiter. Basically, the small and the great benefactor are together. This will happen two times, in January and November. The first one, the 22nd of January, 17 degrees in Sagittarius, your third house. The second aspect, the same aspect, on the 24th of November, this time 29 degrees in Sagittarius, but still your third house. Great time for meeting new people, for traveling. This is incredible combination for meeting or connecting with new people, friends, basically communication, traveling, new ideas, and enjoying the process. So remember those days and keep in mind that the positive influences might be felt before and after, not only on the exact day. And again, I would like to remind you about the 2019 astrology calendar. Basically, in this calendar, you will find the exact dates of all of the major aspects between the planets plus interpretation. So it will really help you to prepare and to plan things better. And also it includes the heliacal phases of the planets, which is a very ancient method, very important, which shows you the visibility of the planets on a daily basis. And that's extremely important as well. So you can find the link below the video for more information, or if you want personal advice or personal reading, the links are below the video. So thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget that all of the videos will be available on my channel. If you are not subscribed, you may want to subscribe to receive future notifications, and you will find the videos for the different signs after they are recorded on my channel as well. Today we are talking about Libra, and we have all of the other signs as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you really soon.